Hello and welcome to the CiviWiki weekly meeting. Today is Monday, May 7th, 2018. My name is Briley Christopher Oxley and I'm joined by
Mitchell West. And if we just go through the line, speak up as you can.
Paul
Joe
Scheid.
Sorry.
Paul Scheid.
Okay, was that everybody? I'm sorry. All right, Mitchell, do you want to lead us off here with the agenda?
We know everyone can hear. We need to find a better way to organize who speaks first. But yeah, so we want to jump into the meeting as usual. We'll probably start off with Juhi, Gordon, and Joe giving an update on what they got done in this past week. And when you give your update on what you got done, certainly let us know what is left in your projects or if you need to have another project assigned. And my particular goal for us for this meeting is just need to do to get this next milestone out, and whether we can lean it up and get a milestone out that gives all the functionality we would like. So maybe we can go Juhi first, followed by Joe, followed by Gordon, giving updates on what's going on. And I think from what I was talking to with Briley, some of our big next milestone updates that we need to do are related to the ProPublica API and the endpoints, REST points on our API. So, Juhi, if you're ready, could you kick it off?
Yep. All right. So this past week, I've been working on restructuring our backbone code. One of the big reasons that our maintainability is rated D is the huge thread file, thread JavaScript file. And so going through this should definitely help with that. Although there is a lot of code to go through, so it's taking me time, and so I wasn't able to finish that up totally, and I will still be working on it throughout this week as well. Now this means that with the backbone reconfiguration and the componentization, I'm moving on. I have moved on to add other tools like Webpack and Marionette to help with that progress. And this should help kind of standardize our web app or front end part of the web application for other developers to join in as well. So yeah, progress, just going through the restructuring and going to still work on it throughout this week as well.
Very nice, very nice. And so with that, do we have an open issue for that, or should we open an issue? Because I know we just added
There's already an open issue for that.
Great, great. Sounds good. So it sounds like you've made some progress and have your work cut out for you for the next week. So we'll move on to.
I'm sorry, Mitchell.
You with us, Joe?
Oh, you were breaking up, Mitchell. I'm not sure if Joe heard you.
Oh, Joe, are you prepared to talk?
Yeah. So this last week I didn't really get too much work done. I was like mostly doing school and like setting up my development environment, with Python 3 and all that.
Mm-hmm.
But this week, I think I'd like to look at number 150 on waffle.io. Like it's the sharing civies, I think.
Nice. I like the idea of being able to get that additional feature. Yet it's specifically sharing the Civi threads.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah. I don't think that is under our milestone 2, so others can jump in if they don't think we should add this now. But I do like the idea of getting this feature integrated because I think it'll make it more more effective to create a thread and then share it with your group. So if we have people who want to really invest time in writing content, this will make it a lot easier for them to share that content with their following. So I like the idea of taking this on, but I do want to open the discussion for Paul and Briley and Juhi and anyone else who wants to speak up about just our development timeline.
Okay, yeah, sounds good.
Okay, well, just for some numbers, we have 0.2 milestone, if you can see my screen, is marked as 52% complete. We have 27 open issues and 30 closed issues. So there's a phrase that I'm going to use, or that is common, it's called feature creep. And it's just when kind of the features or the things that go into either a milestone or an epic or even a project kind of grow unchecked. And it's really easy to happen, and it's like a fish in a water type thing. You don't notice it when you're in the midst of it. So we have to balance the need to get the 0.2 milestone released and the fact that we have these features that we at various times think are high priority or would be beneficial for various reasons, and they're they're well-meaning reasons, but they're delaying the release. So we have to acknowledge that reality and pare down. So I've just gone through the backlog. I've moved everything that is in the 0.2 milestone in the next up column that is not already in progress. So what I think we should do is really take a hard look at this and get our 0.2 milestone down in size to about 10 issues open, 10 open issues. But that's what I have to say.
I would also like to add that if you search within our repository by in our issue section by assignee, you will be able to see which of the issues that you have been assigned to. And I've been noticing there are a lot of issues related to 0.2 milestones that have been assigned but have not been resolved yet. So they might have been kind of like forgotten after, going through all these weeks and whatnot. So make sure you go back and check on all the issues that you've been assigned to and see if you can kind of jump back into them.
Yeah, I think that's a good.
Because I believe there's a multiple assigned for each of us.
I think that's a good point. Yeah, Joe, what were you gonna say?
Yeah, I was gonna agree. Like that does sound like a good point. I know that I was going to work on the moderation system and stuff. But I'd kind of like to clarify like what exactly you would want for something like that, because like as I see on the admin panel, there's like already like some options for like making users into moderators and like assigning them privileges and stuff. There's like a delete Civi button already. You can like probably delete a thread if you wanted to. So I'm not sure like if that'd be like like a UI update or something, or like what would that entail really?
Yeah, that's a fair point, Joe. Is that a milestone 2 issue? If so, that sounds like an issue that I think we could push off to milestone 3. Because I do think we have some admin controls. I certainly think shareability would be more important than that. I don't know where these are. What we might have you do for a second, we'll maybe have you take a look over what's in milestone 2, see if there is a issue that you're assigned to or otherwise, well qualified to complete. See if there's something that fits a little bit better. If not, I support the concept of doing this shareability, but I think you should take a second look, and if, as you say, the admin console is already in reasonable shape, we might want to just take that issue and push it up to issue 3. So what if you take a minute to look over that issue thread, and we'll move on to Gordon, and then we'll circle back to talking about what issues might need to be pushed off to milestone 3 based off of what you're saying, as well as what issues the best to focus on next week.
Yeah, okay, I'll check it out right now.
Sounds good. Sounds good. Gordon, you able to talk about your last week of work and issues you might want to take on this coming week?
Sure. Basically, what I ended up Publica stuff, because like I said, I know that they're getting ready to push out their API. Just kind of futzing around with pushed it up yet because it breaks everything 6 ways to Sunday. I got distracted by a fun little shiny. There was a bug for it, but second last commit that I pushed up, there's in the scores. It basically deals with how how civvies are can sort by scoring, and there was a lot of to do. Figure this out. To do. Explain this. To cleaned all that up. I recognized it as I recognized the search from that all nice and tidied up, and whoever wrote that really, we can play with it, and it's a very powerful sorting algorithm.
That's
So I went ahead and push some more docstring stuff up, push some more. I have fun issue where people, Safari.
Gordon, I'm having
set,
trouble hearing you. Your audio is cutting in and out. I don't know if that's other people's experience.
Yeah, pretty much every other word.
Fuck. Shoot. Okay, I'll go ahead. I'll talk a little slower. But basically, which I did create a bug for it, number 192, where apostrophe rendered as weird characters in Safari, and also able to be duplicated in Firefox and Internet Explorer. The easiest way to fix it is to remove all the apostrophes.
We've already reviewed that and had a discussion. If you check the comments in there, Gordon, I think the easiest way to fix that is by putting a proper meta tag.
So hey, why don't you put this in there? So yeah, I went ahead and I added that. I checked it under a validator. It says, hey, it's okay, but here's some other suggestions. So and because there are warnings right now, so we'll fix them. And I'll either after the meeting or later in the week. I ran out of time right now.
All right, cool, good work. It's good that you're finding those bugs and labeling them clearly as well.
No, I gotta say, I think that's one. Moving on towards getting ProPublica integrated sounds like a really great continuation task. It is on milestone 2, and you're already in the weeds about it. I caught most of what you're saying. Very glad that you cleaned up the comments on that algorithm. Also nice that you think that it's reasonable because Juhi and I worked on that a while ago. So glad that it looks like it's actually a reasonable design. And so I didn't catch everything else, but it does sound like continuing to focus on issues under milestone 2 and focusing specifically on ProPublica makes sense, and it looks like you've made some great contributions this last week.
Thanks. Yeah, I mean, I finished up issue number 21. I also want to finish up the ProPublica. I'm sorry, the Sunlight API issue number 99 in the next week or so. That's my goal coming up.
Yep, just stick close to the tasks that you've already been assigned, because in the in progress column you're showing at least 4 tasks open, and so this is the 5 tasks actually. Now that I see it, you're co-assigned on one. So this is a tendency to drift and lose track. And Juhi was mentioning this earlier, that we have a lot of tasks that are assigned that may have been stalled. If anything, you can put it in a blocked state if it's blocked by something else, but try to only have one ball in the air at a time.
Well, the doc strings I'm keeping simply because that way, as more and more code gets added, I can check it here, make sure we've got working. It's got doc strings that looks formatted correctly. Leave it open until either I can write a like a shell script or a Python script that it automatically checks it versus that versus linters versus is we want to we want to make meets whatever requirements we want to make sure the code meets before it gets checked in.
Well, we have already the script in place for that. The task is only to add the doc strings to existing classes. We don't need to automate that, particularly with any custom automation scripts. That's not in scope. So keep it simple, keep it small, and just get it done. Like that's the kind of guidelines for Agile, kind of so we move forward and keep
Okay.
get this
Not a
milestone
problem.
released.
So check everything, make sure it's closed out this week.
All right, cool.
Great. Well, thank you so much, Gordon. I think we'll circle back to Joe now, if you're ready, Joe. I don't know if you had enough time to add some of the issues that are open.
Yeah, I checked him out.
Anything that sticks out of the issues that you are assigned that you want to focus on, and then separately, do you think that we should move the admin control issue to milestone 3, if that is currently a milestone 2 issue?
Yeah, I'd say milestone 3 would probably work out. I see there's like a lot of like IDs to add. Still, there's like a lot of those issues.
Yeah, that's a good observation because even though we have 27 issues open, probably about 1/3 of them are low-hanging fruit. Maybe are just not, good first issue or help wanted issue. Those green label issues can be done pretty quick. There's a couple of them about documentation that can be done. That said, there are at least 5, maybe possibly up to 10 kind of bigger issues, including the one that we just agreed to move to 0.3. So yes, do you want to take a self-assign any of the green label issues, for example, in the next up column, the good first issue and help wanted?
Let's see. In the next up column, let me see that one again really quick here. One sec.
Sure thing.
Yeah, I could do a couple of the ID ones. But I think for this week, I will focus on the sharing Civi threads mostly, and then if I have more time, I'll do like a couple of those ID tags later on.
Cool. Yeah, and Mitchell, there's a really low-hanging fruit here about the updating About Us page. That one might be just like a few line pull requests, could be even done through the GitHub UI.
Yeah, and that's in HTML5, correct?
Yeah, I think it's just the way you describe it, probably just a list, like an unordered list.
Yeah. So what issue number is that?
So it is issue number. One second. Oh, 96. It's in the next up column. I'm going through the next up column and adding labels where I see they're missing.
Yeah. I'll take a look at that this week. So I haven't done a lot of coding on it, but I do know basic HTML5, and so I will take a look at and see if I can edit that page and get something pulled together.
Cool. Yeah, so check out, okay, I've gone through and labeled everything. We've got some code quality changes in progress. There are at least 6 to 10, probably about 6, 4, 5, 6, 7 issues marked as help wanted good first issues type of thing that are probably low hanging fruit. And then there's a couple of bugs in there. And I'm, let's see, I've issue number 149 about linear linking between relationships between civies. I think we should move it to the 0.3 milestone.
Well, I feel like Juhi kind of already got that set up. Am I correct, Juhi?
So yeah, in terms of front end, that was set up, but in terms of back end, it involves a little more work with the models and database changes. So I was planning to work on that, but
okay, well if that's your priority,
but right now my priority is with the front end, so we could potentially move that back.
Yeah, let's move it back.
Since I do see it as a more heftier task.
Yeah, definitely.
Especially since it makes database changes.
Yeah, we'll need a migration and some thorough testing on that. I'd like to kind of keep a rule of thumb that maybe every release, since we're doing kind of small agile releases and we want to get them out the door once every week or two, let's have no more than like 3 to 5 big issues that might involve, migrations or substantial lines of code, aside from cleanup tasks and things. So 1 or 2, headline features per release. So that way we'll get up some momentum. Everything else, though, for the most part, is in the next up column is pretty straightforward. I think we can close those out without much effort.
Yeah, I think that sounds good. So it sounds like we should move that issue up to milestone 3, and yeah, it sounds like we've got pretty good tasks for everyone to focus on.
Cool. And I think we have an understanding now, a shared understanding that we should be sticking to the best of our ability to the project priorities, selecting from among them, and we can work together to prioritize tasks, but let's just try not to jump tasks in queue even as they might seem interesting, because it's not an efficient way of working, just from my experience.
Yeah, no, that sounds good, and let's make sure that we check in on that again next week, because I do think that we've brought it up, and I think it's been a consistent issue to where we get attracted to different issues, and so we should really focus in our work to try and target milestones that we've all identified as the most important tasks to get done. So I think that sounds good, and we should make sure we integrate that into each of our weekly meetings as we're discussing which tasks to take. With that said, we've got about 4 minutes left in our weekly stand-up. I think we've covered all the basics of development. Are there any other organizational issues or development issues that anyone would like to raise? Hearing none, I think that we're coming close to the close of the meeting. So yeah, I think that if anyone has anything else they want to raise, they can. Otherwise, I think we've all got our marching orders and can try and jump into work.
All right, thanks. You all have a great week.
Sounds like fun. You too.
Fantastic. Peace out.
All right, talk to you later.
See you later.
Bye, guys.